Good day. Welcome back to the Valder Beebe Show. My next guest has some important information for us. His name is Jason Grumet. He's American Clean Power Association CEO. Jason, welcome to the Valder Beebe Show for the first time.
Valder, it's great to be here for the first time. Hopefully there'll be a second.
Okay, you're always welcome. What is clean power? What are we saying when we say that, Jason?
So the United States produces more energy than any country in the world. And by far, the fastest growing part of our energy economy is clean power. We're talking about the wind power, solar power, the batteries that store that energy and get it where we need it to go when we need it. This is by far the fastest growing part of our energy economy. Last year, full three quarters of all of the new electricity brought onto our nation's power grid came from these clean energy sources. It's enough now energy to power half the homes in the country. It's about 16% of the nation's entire electricity mix, and it's growing fast, right? So there are economic benefits, there are environmental benefits, and of course, we all hopefully don't mess with Texas. By far, Texas is the #1 producer of clean energy in the country.
Okay, that's quite a commitment, saying Texas is the #1 producer of clean energy. On a national, a local, and a consumer benefits basis, what are the benefits for those three entities?
Yep, so I'll unpack it if I can. Nationally, over 500,000 people are employed in this industry today, and we are going to double that in the next 10 years, right? So a tremendous opportunity for job growth nationally. Economically, there have been $500 billion with a B dollars of new private sector capital invested in clean energy manufacturing and production just in the last 2 years. And I really want to hone in for a minute on manufacturing, right? This is not just the facilities that produce the power. We're building brand new industries in this country to make the solar panels and the wind turbines and all the electronic components. And there's a whole host of small businesses making safety harnesses and coatings. And not only is that obviously powering this country, but now we're exporting those products, right? So there's a real renaissance in American manufacturing. So nationally, big national core part of the U.S. economy. Locally, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I was going to say, don't leave the consumer out.
All right.
What benefit is it?
The consumer. So here's the kind of neat thing about clean power. The fuel is free. Once you build the facility, you have a reliable, steady power source that does not have the kind of volatility that we all see. Some years gasoline costs $2.80, some years it's $4.80. We have no control over that in this country, right? That is driven by foreign countries, not all of whom are our best friends. Clean power is affordable, but it's also predictable. And so it's playing a really important role in kind of balancing the energy costs across the country. And we're also, again, finding that the consumers are benefiting not just from the low cost, but consumers are also benefiting from the clean air, right? There's a lot of costs associated with air pollution and asthma and hospitalization. And so, consumers are saving not just on their energy bills, but they're saving on their healthcare bills.
Give me a little bit about solar farming and the farm owners. How do they integrate into this picture?
So one of the important aspects of this industry is that while there's manufacturing in a lot of urban centers, the actual clean energy production is happening in the vast open spaces of this country, right? In rural America, on farms, on ranches. And one of the real challenges in our economy is it's pretty tough to keep a small family farm operating these days, right? A lot of volatility, a lot of economic pressure. We're seeing small farms and small ranches bought up by multinational companies. Sometimes they're being sold and turned into condo developments. One of the great things about these technologies is that you can integrate them into a working farm or a working ranch. And it's almost like a new crop. It's a new revenue stream. The companies pay the landowners a lease in order to use their land. And it's a steady payment month after month for decades, which often is the difference between keeping a farm in the family or having to sell it. And so there's a real opportunity to kind of integrate this new energy production in all 50 states, but particularly in rural communities around the country.
Oh, and thank you so very much for that clear understanding, Jason. I'm going to take this one from one of the platforms that listens to the Valder Beebe Show. This one's Facebook. And the poster wants to know, with technology, with clean energy being built on technology, when something happens like what happened in Taiwan, the earthquake, and their production is slowed, does that impact clean energy?
Mm-hmm. So look,
Good
as we know, like, energy is a global industry, and so much of what happens in this country's energy system is out of our control. Right? So much of it depends on what's happening in global markets where the energy prices are set. By and large, clean power is much more predictable. Right? It's produced in this country. It is not vulnerable to the whims of Vladimir Putin or OPEC. But the supply chains are global. So, a lot of the components of the solar and the wind are in other countries, in Mexico, in Taiwan, in Korea, in India. And so when there are disruptions anywhere in the globe, there is a challenge for this industry, but it's a challenge in getting the components to build the facilities. It doesn't interrupt the ability to produce the power that we have on the ground today. So if you have a tragedy in Taiwan, it doesn't raise the cost of wind power or solar power in this country. It might slow down the ability to get a facility built if you're waiting an extra 3 months to get the key components. And so, this is part of a global sector, but we have much more control over the economics of clean power than over much of the energy sector.
Jason Grumet, I really believe we're going to be having more of these conversations, especially as AI comes in and plays an important part in everything that we do. Where can my audience go and get more information on clean energy solutions?
Yeah, look, would love your folks to check out fuelforthought.energy. It's a new website that provides a lot of general information around the industry and some stories of how people have kind of integrated clean power production into their own homes and businesses. We're also hiring 500,000 people, and we have a really hard time finding folks for these, high-paying jobs. So if people, particularly a lot of, Texas has a tremendous strength of energy industry. If people go to cleanpowerinstitute.org, they'll learn about options to become part of what we think is the best workforce in the country.
Well, you said the right thing. We do have the best workforce in the country. Jason Grumet, thank you so much for educating the Valder Beebe Show audience about clean power. Please come back, because I'm sure there's a lot more to discuss.
Would love to. Thanks a lot.
1,000 videos on ValderBeebeShow.com and YouTube.com/ValderBeebeShow. We upload new videos daily. Our site is a modern baby boomer platform with news and information important to boomers. Subscribe to YouTube.com/ValderBeebeShow and stay connected as I interview the world's most fascinating people.